Thank you very much for joining us. It's really an honor to have you with us. You are a larger than life figure and you're working at such a hectic pace right now, and to take this time off, very, very grateful.
Thank you, sir. Even for me, it's a great honor to be interviewed by you and Shekharji.
And bullied by Uma.
Yeah, we thought.
Be careful.
So, I know her quite well. So.
Right.
Thank you.
No, and from what we've been saying, you do films, you're just hugely successful in films, but politics seems to be in your DNA, in the sense that you feel you're very idealistic. Are you too idealistic?
For politics?
Sometimes I feel too idealistic. Sometimes even I myself feel, am I being too impractical? But I said, you have to have a kind of a maverick attitude to achieve something. For me, I said, what do I lose? I always allow to walk into the unknown. So let if an individual goes to any extent to earn money, thousands of crores, I said, if he has the madness to pursue that part to create a lot of suitcase companies and to do a lot of scams, if they have that kind of madness, why can't I be the opposite? I said, even I should. They have certain kind of extremity, and let me have this extremity that it gives me success or not, I don't know, but I prefer to do to tread on this journey, to walk on this journey.
So when you speak to your supporters these days, you're campaigning, what is the central message and what's the most popular thing that you say? You're an actor, so you must have something that gets people really excited.
I feel, I don't give any my opinions as such, but what is there prevailing amongst them, what they wanted is, they don't want welfare activities, they don't want
freebies.
They said, give us future for next 25 years. And when I picked it from one of the youngster. So I said, it is not about 25 kilos of free rice or 2,500 rupees unemployment payment.
Dole,
yeah. It is, I'm here to give you, to work for your future of 25 years. And that's what...
But then people who give the doles and freebies, they are the ones who win the elections.
Maybe every time... see, it's like what I believe in, Nicholas Phillips, the black swan. Unless someone tries, unless he does the other way, opposite, then no one believes in it. So I prefer to give that surprise constantly, because I could see this change. People wanted change since 2004. And everyone, and even Mr. Modi, people wanted a change, and that's what they rallied behind him. But BJP might be thinking like they manufactured concern, but actually it is not, what I personally believe. The people wanted a change. They've been experimenting with different people, okay, in each and every state. Even here, they experiment with different people, even they tried with. So I believe, though, as you said, the people who does freebies and rules, there might be the ones as on now, but we don't know. We have to prove an example. That's it. Maybe these elections could be one. We never know.
You've been involved with elections for quite a few years now. First with your brother, and then afterwards, 2014, should I say you were a kingmaker. This time, are you fighting to be kingmaker?
No, this time I want to form our own government. Because first of all, I don't like to entertain a thought of being a kingmaker. And I don't like to use the word king. Because being democracy, I don't like to use the word king or kingmaker both. We are here, I prefer a council, which really does the right things for the society. And because if I say that I'm in your particular phrase, words called a kingmaker or king, if I start saying, even thinking that means I'm not giving my best to fight independently. So even at a thought level, I don't think that way. I prefer to give my best to have a majority, to win a majority of seats, form our own government.
But you've been focusing only on a few districts, people would say.
No way. Because I have traveled extensively for all these months. Though, because it's a conception, there's a perception which is been created by both the parties. So actually for me, I have, because if they say I don't have strength in Rayalaseema, 3.5 lakh people will be rallying behind me. So repeatedly we had to prove it. But the problem is they have a political muscle and they have a knack to say it. So that's what they injected into everyone's mind. So constantly I have to counter it this way.
Right. So what is your vision? I know you have a manifesto, but generally behind all that, you wanted to enter politics since you're quite young. So what is your vision? What would you like to see and be remembered as? What you'd like to do?
For me, the vision is about, so when I was growing up, my biggest dilemma was, we grew up in times of, when I was growing up, Cold War was happening, still Soviet Russia was there, and Berlin Wall was still existing. And in our schools, they were teaching us about patriotism, and they were teaching about great national leaders, how they had sacrificed their life. But in reality, what we used to see is a corrupt political leaders. For me, I could not comprehend both. And how come they're teaching us this? How come these guys are doing it? And they used to come for our functions. What I hear on roads, this guy is a corrupt MLA. And these guys used to come. I said, the respectable MLA of so-and-so constituency is coming, and please take. Somehow I never used to, it used to create a conflict in me. So that made me to go deeper into it. And as I was growing up, I went into Sangh. I used to look at a lot of Sangh activities used to be there. And a lot of radicals used to be there. Radical meetings used to be there when I was in my post-10th grade and intermediate.
Radical meaning radical left?
Yeah, radical left, yes. So I was in a state of confusion. What is right? Because you want to do something. I think which way, what thought I had to embrace to do something.
So who did you get closer to, radical left or radical right?
Somehow I believe you have to be stand in the center.
No, but when you were watching them, who influenced you more?
Sometimes the fight for justice left used to really influence me, and sometimes the needed cultural understanding used to come from Sangh. This is not that I actually participated in both, but I used to watch from a distance, and I could never understand how come people of that stature, what makes them to do what they're doing. So my entire thought, for a greater time, even till 31, I was in this state of confusion. I think by 29 or 30, then I realized, oh, we have to be somewhere balanced. And for a strangely, I don't know that you might accept it or not, Mr. M.J. Akbar's book, I read it when I was 18 or 19, right after riot. So I want to make a documentary out of it. Out of one of the incidents, I was thinking about it. Suddenly, after a few years, his articles have started changing, and suddenly now he'll be going into the Bharatiya Janata Party. Somehow I could not. I used to see examples, not at Mr. M.J. Akbar's level, but at my property. It's in my vicinity. People who hated left, they went into right. People who hated right, they went into left. I said, then I want to embrace, okay, I like this guy, let me go with him. Then suddenly he said, after 6 months, Kalyan, this is not right, I will go with something. So I was very kind of confused, so I didn't go into anywhere. I was watching myself, I was watching everyone, then I started picking up what is right. So it was quite confusing for me for close to 15 years.
So what would you like to see, how would you like to change, how would you like to make a difference in politics?
Because first my fundamental priority is for constitutional rights and the fairness in whatever an individual has to get in the society. And third would be a sense of protection and sense of well-being should be there in society. No matter what kind of economic background I come from, what kind of cultural background I come from, I shouldn't be intimidated in my own country. And
you think that's getting worse?
It is getting worse, and I had seen it. It's not something I imagined it, I had seen it. For example, Telangana, it is not suddenly Mr. KCR has started. When I was in Nellore, it is an extreme part of the other side of Andhra Pradesh, when I was in 10th grade, one of my friends went to Hyderabad to study, and he was beaten and bullied by a few Telangana kids, and he came back. He said, "What happened? Why did you come back?" I said, "They told me I'm an Andhra guy, and they were constantly be fighting." Then I said, that stuck deep in my mind, embedded deeply into my mind. So from there, when we shifted from Chennai to Hyderabad, I realized there is no cultural integration between from two regions who speak the same language, but I mean a little dialectical different. Dialect is a bit different. Then I just wonder what made them not to blend with each other. That means somewhere I feel the elected representatives or the socio-political leadership didn't made it happen. At a political level, they were very extremely close with each other, but when you go down, it's not percolating now.
So you're fighting from both states
Yeah.
for that reason.
No, not about that reason. For me, it was in my heart, it is as one region for me.
That's what I mean, yes.
But do you regret 2014 you backed Mr. Naidu and the Telugu Desam?
Yeah.
And by extension also Mr. Narendra Modi. He in fact would invite you to the dais and make you sit there, and I remember those meetings. So what is your report card on the Prime Minister and Mr. Chandrababu
It's a
Naidu?
very simple slide, one single slide line, two sentences I can say. People like me, we rallied behind Mr. Narendra Modi, believing in that he gives a very strong leadership. For me, strong leadership means which upholds integrity, which will minimize the divisiveness, which will bridge the cultural misunderstanding. Because as we were going through, the entire parliament went through that process of Telangana separation. So we rallied behind that with a lot of admiration and respect and law. But the moment he took charge of everything, it is the fear psychosis which was, he wanted to run he was creating fear psychosis. And India always rally behind a leader who adores, who respects. We all seek, when he does it with a lot of love and thing, people are willing to listen. But when you try to create fear psychosis and try to force them and rule them, people are bound to that.
You didn't find him dispense any love and affection after he became Prime Minister?
For me?
No, generally.
Did he invite you to join the BJP also?
Yeah. In fact, they asked me to join in BJP. I said, if I have to join in BJP, I would have started a party. That's what my answer was. Definitely. No, it's not Modi ji, someone else asked me. Then my first thought was, I don't know how to say it. Post when Parliament, after swearing in, I met a few BJP leaders and even I met Modi ji. I sensed that you guys, your job is done. Now you can go home. That's what I sensed. But it cannot be proven. It is a simple body language, a simple nod. You sense it.
You were used in that sense in 2014 election, you feel?
The moment I finished the election, I could sense it.
I see.
But I said, I'm fine. I said, this is a process which I have chosen, so I don't have any complaint about it.
So experience, you learned.
Yeah, I learned it.
by
I'm fine
experience.
with that.
But when you say that the disappointment is increasing
Disappointment,
diversity.
my first notice was because me being an actor, I come from an acting background. My fundamental first thought, what I didn't like was Pune Film Institute's issue.
Right.
And students were, they wanted something of their own. I said, why do you want to force someone who is not of their kind? That's the first thing which I didn't like. And later, everything was, escalating. I said, you cannot bring, and every change, right from, regarding Rohit Vemula Central University, I think there was never a need to take it to such an extent. They could have nullified it at a very smaller level. And suddenly, somehow I was not feeling comfortable for each and every thing, and especially with demonetization, I said, India, you cannot give a shock to India. Even if you want to revolutionary changes, it should be incremental, it cannot be overnight. It was very disappointing for me to look at from today onward, this note is worthless. And I said, how a man of that stature who heads the country, how could he even dare to say that? And it was scary for me. Then I said, I kept quiet. I said, my dilemma was, how come I didn't trust him blindly? I mean, that much I can tell you. But will people go to that extent even to one night? Like they can.
Some political observers say you are playing for Mr. Chandrababu Naidu and that you will help him win by criticizing YSR Congress.
See, the problem is that's how it can be perceived from which side you're looking at. If you look at from the people's point of view, from the people's perception, and people are able to understand me. If you look at from YSRCP point of view, why they're saying it is, they came with a number of times, they came with a proposal that we should work together. And I said, okay, you don't like what the ruling government is doing? I said, because I don't like to name, I would like to give it. Then I said, it's fine. First tell your leader to go to assembly. As I'm fighting outside, he has a role to play in assembly. That's his constitutional responsibility as a opposition leader. He should go into assembly, let him rake up all whatever, let him fight in assembly. If he doesn't want to go to assembly, then I said, what is the purpose? Then he said, no, they bought off our MLA, so we're not going to go. And we don't like to face them. I said, that cannot be, even if you're all alone, go and fight.
So you will carry on both politics and cinema. Hope you will not lose that great talent that you have in cinema.
Actually, frankly speaking, I struggle to do cinema.
You struggle?
I struggle to act. I mean, it's a tough job for me to perform because I prefer to be as natural as possible. So if something happens in the same line, okay, this is my performance, then I said I'm fine to do acting. But
But you're not bringing acting to politics?
No, I bring this element to
and I believe you're an action hero with lots of martial arts.
Yeah, because I like I learned the screamer, kickboxing, and karate, of course.
I think you're ideally suited for politics.
Well,
acting and kickboxing. What more do you want?
Can you stab people in the back? Is there a martial arts like that?
No,
then you will be a great politician.
I don't stab in back.
Then to chance nahi hai.
Trouble. Situation might
Any
change.
lessons that you learned from your brother's experience? He did get a substantial amount of the vote at that time.
From my brother's experience, what I learned was we have to be, you cannot be dependent on anyone else. A leader is quite a journey he has to live in solitude. It's a very solitary journey. There's no support system, no matter how much you might be surrounded by hordes of people, but still you're all alone inside. You're the only decision maker, and no one is going to support you.
Very interesting.
And something goes wrong, it weighs heavily on you, and you should be able to take that weight. And that's a difficult choice for my brother because he's very soft at heart, very tender at heart.
Yes.
For me, I'm okay.
Do you have a view on Rahul Gandhi? You told us your view on Modi, but Rahul Gandhi?
Rahul Gandhi, I don't know, I think people put him down too much. I mean, they mock at him too much, which is not right. Sometimes I feel, I think he has his own thinking, though maybe he's disinterested for being like that. I think on purpose, out of disinterest, I think he must be behaving like that. But actually, deep down, I think he has a lot of commitment. That's what I feel. And you can never undermine any individual. Just whatever being is being projected outside.
And tell us a bit about your alliance partner Mayawati and your experience working with her.
With her, in 2008, we had a lot of common who wanted to, apart from the regular parties, there is another third groups, a lot of different groups. They wanted to come together, and they had seen me because they know my social commitment. They came and approached me. Why don't you work for BSP? In fact, though it didn't come from Mayawati then, but it came from one of the state BSP leaders. Why don't, if you had BSP in Unified Andhra Pradesh, we'll give you as a chief minister candidate. And I said, my brother is about to start a party, I said, and that will be doing injustice. Even if I contemplate, I said, I'm sorry, I cannot do it. And that's how actually the
Started.
And constantly we used to, in 2014, they wanted to some kind of, but there were no local leadership. But one individual whom I trust, he brought a notice that they wanted to meet me. So I went and approached. So it was from the moment I met her, it was a very cordial meeting, and it was quite affectionate. And the most beautiful thing she said was, it's not about seat sharing and all, it is about, she wants to see a good leadership in each and every state.
Okay.
And that's what she believes in, and that's how we got connected with.
But your challenge is formidable, because in this region, in these two states, there are already 3 strong state level regional leaders.
Who are 3, sir?
Well, this case here, there is Babu, there is Jagan.
It's a David and Goliath, I'd say.
David and Goliath. See, I want to end by, sorry, you want to have another question?
No, I was just asking, all those crowds, frenzy that is around you all the time, are they your fans, or are they coming for also Pawan Kalyan, who is promising to be a politician?
They had seen me enough, that part has been finished. If you look at it, even with all the fringiness, we got around 23% in 2009. And we could shift the vote, same percentage of vote, to TDP. So then you cannot, the fringiness is out of also a mad adoration, and because I believe they are believing in something which a man is able to live up to his ideals. I think that's the thing. It's not about me being an actor. That is one layer.
So I would like to end with you teaching us something, which you are well known for. Your gesture. I wonder if this is a gesture when you saw something terrible happening to a woman being bullied. When you see terrible politics, what same gesture? What is the gesture? And how do we do it?
I'll be like this. I'll be thinking what I'm supposed to do.
No, but the famous one that you didn't mean it to become.
I didn't mean it to happen. It just happened.
So just think of a terrible political scene, and what will you do?
I'll have a blank look.
No, I want to see this one.
You want to see this?
How is it done? What did you do, and how did it happen?
It happened because in one of the films called Badri, a girl will be getting bullied. My character, one of the heroine character, will getting bullied. I think Amisha Patel. She gets bullied. Then I had to bear it for a while. Then I don't know what to do. How to face this guy? That little annoyance will be there. So to show that annoyance, what I did was I was doing this, or maybe something I did like this. I think that became.
That became. I think you do this every day in politics also. Shekhar, now let me see you do it. Not a patch. You can do it.
I'm happy to watch him do it.
You
I've already done it.
do it again. You did quite all right.
Thank you very much. God bless you.